Oh, what that dang. This is the Black Porter. Yes, the voice of the Patriot, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk Rasta. It is the voice of the Patriot, where we speak truth to power. And remember, here we don't criticize. If we must, it would only be on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and country. And here we are not neutral, never. We have taken sides, the side of the truth. That is why we are affectionately called the headquarters of the truth. This is the voice of the Patriot, and here we speak truth to power. And I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Now today we have a number of issues to look at in our daily editorial, and of course the very first story I want to look at today is quite interesting, and you must come along. You must certainly come along, my brother, my sister. It is a very interesting story. You must come along. Okay, now it's taken from Ghana Web, and it says, from tramadol complaints to we don't know why we are here, 3 hilarious moments at NPP protest. And I read, now the new patriotic party, NPP, staged a massive demonstration on September the 23rd, 2025, against the government over what it described as selective justice and harassment. Now at the end of the protest, the party presented a petition to President John Dramani Mahama and the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohun. Thousands of party faithfuls turned out in support of the demonstration, flooding the streets with chants, placards, and party colors. While the protest was meant to address serious political concerns, some lighter and unexpected moments were captured on video, leaving many Ghanaians amused. Number one, Kayaye admitted that they did not know why they were demonstrating. A group of head porters, popularly known as Kayaye, who joined the demonstration, openly admitted in an interview that they had no idea why they were protesting. They came to tell us that we should come for a meeting, but they didn't tell us it was a demonstration. One of them confessed while holding a placard. So if someone asks us why we are here, we don't know what to say. We don't know why they are demonstrating. Their candid admission sparked humor online, with many questioning how demonstrators could march without understanding the cause. Number two, complaints about tramadol prices. Another group of participants diverted attention from the march's political message to the rising cost of tramadol. They lamented that the price of the drug had jumped from 5 cedis to 12 cedis, calling for urgent government intervention. If they don't reduce it, we will start to steal. One protester warned, drawing both shock and humor from onlookers. And then the third one, public smoking and dancing. In another unusual scene, a group of men were captured openly smoking and dancing in the middle of the protest, despite the heavy police presence and large crowd. Now, the sight of the men nonchalantly puffing away while others shouted political slogans added a comic layer to the otherwise tense demonstration. So it's a nation of sheep. My brother, my sister, politicians can always have, in fact, their whims and caprices massaged by the populace. All they need to do is to take advantage of the illiteracy and ignorance of the people. It hurts me that despite free education, despite the fact that people could go to school for free in Ghana, the ignorance level, the illiteracy level is still alarmingly shocking. Now, as a historian, this takes me back to the days of Kwame Nkrumah. How did the coup that overthrew Kwame Nkrumah happen? In fact, a group of soldiers were lied to that they were needed to come over all the way to Accra. They brought a lot of them from Kumasi and such other places. They lied to them that, you know what, we are going to demonstrate against the world and Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah is trying to take all of us out for peacekeeping in Vietnam and some other such places. And you know how dangerous it is, amidst other lies. My brother, my sister, some of the lies even included, oh, Kwame Nkrumah wants you to come around him so that you would be sent on a certain peacekeeping mission or something like that. They marched to Accra, and all they realized was that they were caught in the crossfire. They either must fire or be fired. Several years down the line, from 1966, my brother, my sister, about 60 years later, people are still being lied to and drawn into political milice. Somebody goes for a demonstration. He is not aware what a demonstration is all about. Some people just said, they said, come for a meeting so that we would help you become a better person. They are on the streets holding placards that they cannot even read, let alone understand. They are all shouting just because they want to increase the numbers. It tells us how unserious these politicians can be. And it is a warning for all of us to know that the average Ghanaian politician is very wicked. He can sacrifice us in order to reach the heights that he wants. It hurts me that these same Kayaye people are always at the receiving end. They sleep in the open, they are raped night and day. A lot of them go through things that we cannot mention on radio. My brother, my sister, it is shocking. A group of drug addicts also joined. They are not interested in any other thing except that prices of drugs like tramadol should be reduced so that they can continue on their drug spree. It tells us where the country is going. It tells us exactly what kind of people we are. We can be manipulated by the political class anytime, anywhere. It is time for us to look at free education as compulsory. In fact, it should be made illegal not to have children go to school. From now, my brother, my sister, we must have compulsory education, and if at least basic education, or else the quality of this nation, no matter how hard we try, will continue to be very low and useless. Think about it, my brother. And if we already have this law, it means that it's not being enforced. It is time to look at this. It is time to push it further. It is time to think Ghana. Or else, my brother, my sister, it might be easy for you to go out there and get kayaye and drug addicts to vote for you and follow your whims and caprices. But when it comes to where it matters most, delivery, that is when you will realize that you can only fool some people some of the time. Never all the people, all the time. Think about it. Now, for the NPP demonstrating and going around and making so much noise, demonstrations, especially peaceful demonstrations, are very much legal. But I honestly cannot cease to be amused that for the 8 years of a dastardly irresponsible government, people all of a sudden have found their voices. No genuine Ghanaian will join them in any demonstration, except that they lie to them, pull them along a certain demonstration. It tells you where the NPP is right now. It tells you your 8 years of tomfoolery, buffoonery, 8 years of stealing, 8 years of unpatriotic behavior. Today you are struggling to even make the numbers. Without lying to the people, you are unable to make the numbers, to be able to drum home whatever grievances you have. A word to the wise is always enough. Now, another thing I want to look at, and I know it's also very interesting. My brother, my sister, and I need you to open your ears and listen. It's quite sensitive, but it's interesting. I'm reading this from My Joy Online, and it says, Mahama's honeymoon fades as his job performance approval slips. And this is a survey. It's published by one Albert Kuzo. In fact, written by one Albert Kuzo. And I read, President John Mahama's post-election honeymoon may be waning, according to the latest survey by Global Info Analytics. Now, the poll reveals a decline in his job approval ratings, with support dropping from 73% to 67% in September, a 6-point slide. While the president still enjoys the backing of more than 2/3 of voters, Global Info Analytics suggests the deep signals growing scrutiny of his leadership. The findings show that 22% of respondents now disapprove of the president's performance, while 11% remain undecided. This results is a net approval rating of plus 45%. Despite the decline, the data also marks a first. Every region across the country currently approves of the president's job performance, underscoring a rare moment of national consensus. Now, this is very clear. It says that President Mahama is still enjoying his honeymoon. He's still enjoying some public love. What in Ghana is referred to as support. My brother, my sister, the honeymoon is gradually waning, is gradually fading off. Ghanaians voted for the NDC overwhelmingly. The gap between the first and the second positions was more than 1 million votes. That tells you that the NDC really enjoyed some great amount of trust and credibility from the Ghanaian voters. Now, according to Musa Dankwa's Info Analytics, this is waning. A 6-point slide from 73% now to 67%. The favor is going off. The honeymoon is dying out gradually. What could be the cause? First and foremost, we have to look at the promises during the campaign. Yes, it's early days yet, But I grobe so I free anopa. What happened to the Galamsey promise? What are they doing about stopping Galamsey? Are Ghanaians convinced that the government is actually dedicated towards the cause of stopping Galamsey? Number two, the 24-hour economy, which was the major program promised Ghanaians during the elections. How far with that? What are the plans in place? Are Ghanaians convinced that the president and the government are truly dedicated, genuinely, towards the 24-hour economy? Number three, employment and unemployment. Those in employment are struggling to get their salaries. And I do understand that this was inherited from way back. But my brother, my sister, when we vote you into power, all we want is for the problems to be solved, not for excuses to be given us. If it was all about excuses, we would have still kept the Nana Addo Dankwa Bawumia government in place. We believe that you have the power to solve our problems. Much as President Mahama started on a very good note. The dollar started to come down in the face of the Ghana cedi. The economy standing firm despite not borrowing. We must ask ourselves, where is the money coming from? It's from the gold. And the president made it clear. Much as we want to stop Galamsey, the economy may not permit us to do so unless we are seriously dedicated to patriotism and better planning. We have all relegated agriculture to the background. Nobody's ready to be called a farmer now. Farmlands are being sold out to be used as Galamsey pits and mines. Students are running out of school. Teachers don't want to teach anymore. They are all on the Galamsey field because little students that they are teaching in school all of a sudden left school and they have become several-fold richer than the headmaster and head teacher. Instead of sitting down and seeing little students, boys and girls, flaunt wealth from the Galamsey field, the teacher and the head teacher would prefer jumping into the melee and also making money. This looks like common sense. To President Mahama, in fact, the so-called well-being or welfare of the Ghanaian, as you know, is very, very important. The love that Ghanaians continue to show is based on the hopes that they continue to have in them. Mr. President, as you might know, I've never been a president before. Therefore, I am not capable of advising you, but I can make suggestions at least. It is time to rise to the occasion. The honeymoon is literally over. Underline the word literally. The average Ghanaian youth right now is geared so much towards patriotism. They are on the internet and they see a lot of things happening in so many other countries around the world. They have friends who have traveled out. They are comparing their livelihoods. Mr. President, the work against Galamsey is still a problem. Party members are visibly engaged in this dastardly act. All the strong voices against Galamsey when you were in opposition have all died down, including the very voices that we heard on our own radio at the time? Is it because some of them got appointments? Is it because they are making money off the back of the dying Ghanaian? Mr. President, with all love, if these things are not dealt with, you will be shocked that the words of Nkrumah will play back in your face. The average Ghanaian may be behaving like a fool, paraphrased, but where it matters most, when he has had enough, you will see the real character. With all love, I know, Mr. President, you want to leave a legacy. If you are slumbering, which I doubt, please tap yourself awake. And again, some of your appointees who all of a sudden are campaigning to replace you less than a year after you have taken power. Is it a way of saying that they have lost interest in your government and that there's the need for a replacement? Or is it just greed and sheer foolishness? I want to know. In the interim, we remain Ghanaians who employed you. Where we have to speak, we will speak without fear or favor. This said, Mr. President, the statistics are clear. 6 points down. The same statistics that brought you in as president. Mr. President, please incline an ear to this. I'll leave it here. Now, the last thing I want to look at is taken from my own Tree News, one of the most authentic sources of news online. And I read, Bawumia and Kennedy Ejapong confident after NPP vetting as flag bearer race heats up. And I read, now the new Patriotic Party's internal contest for a flag bearer has entered a decisive stage, with leading contenders Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Kennedy Ejapong declaring confidence after appearing before the party's vetting committee in Accra on Tuesday, September the 23rd. Bawumia highlights productive vetting and grassroots focus. And the former president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, described his session as both thorough and productive, noting that he was satisfied with the exchange of ideas and questions raised. Kennedy Ejapong, businessman and MP, in fact, former MP Kennedy Ejapong, also a front runner in the contest, was equally upbeat after his vetting. He said the panel's questions allowed him to clearly outline why he is seeking the presidency and how he wants to tackle national challenges. I was prepared. I believe I answered all the questions, and they know I am ready to be president of the country. My brother, my sister, this party was in power for 8 solid years. Less than 1 year after they were kicked out so shamefully in the 2024 elections, they all of a sudden have missed power and they want to get back into the reins of power. My brother, my sister, I don't know why the NPP is still considering Bawumia. I honestly don't know. If you had the most abysmal performance since the UP, even before the UP, and you still consider a key factor of this failure in your upcoming elections, I wonder what kind of party you people have. The last election Bawumia was in there. He had the advantage of incumbency, yet he flopped flat. He was worse than an impotent man in bed. He crumbled like a house of cards. My brother, my sister, and the NPP is still considering this guy as an aspirant for presidency. Are you joking? Are you serious? This guy followed Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo around. He was a toy. He was a cocoon. My brother, my sister, in fact, he was a puppet, koliko, in the hands of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. At the end of their tenure, 8 years in power, abysmal performance, economy flattened to the ground. And NPP is still considering Bawumia a key cause of the election loss. A man who stood for the election and lost so abysmally. A man who is basically going around apologizing for the wrongs of the 8 years of NPP rule. Instead of having the party heads sit back and say, you know what? You need to take a break. You know what? You lost so abysmally. For that matter, take a backbench. No, they have allowed him to be there. The fact that he has some coins in his pocket, he might be able to woo some kayayo, some tramadolians, and some airheads to follow him. After all, in our country, it's not about discernment. It's about the numbers. Once you have the money, you can pay your way through all the way. My brother, my sister, to the NPP, I don't wish you luck. I don't even believe in luck. What I wish you is torment. What I wish you is punishment from the pits of hell. You have been wicked, more wicked than Lucifer. We still remember the so-called cathedral. We remember how much money you sank into that dirty project. We remember how you tossed money around like Pekle during the Homo War. We remember how your own party members overnight became rich, richer than Bill Gates. We remember how you defended rot and thievery. We remember how you destroyed our water bodies with your dirty galamsey. You were not even ashamed. You came out and defended this dirty rot. Today, a kingpin of this debt, Bawumia, is still being considered to be a flag bearer. I know he won't get it. I know that come January the 31st, the political career of Bawumia will come to an end. Mark these words. Come January 31, 2026, when they announce who has won the primaries for the NPP. And Kennedy Japan is basking in his newfound glory. Bawumia would whip back to Wale Wale. He would whip back to Agbogloshi Market, where he commissioned toilets. His career as a politician will come to an end. Thus says the Lord.
Yabo!